Well, for the first time in many weeks, Dolton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village Hall.
A Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants...
The drama surrounding the Dolton saga continues to heat up, with none other than Mayor Tiffany Henyard at its center. Some have dubbed her the super mayor, but the real question is she truly super or just super controversial? Let's unravel this tangled web because it has all the makings of a political thriller, shady characters, questionable choices, and enough legal showdowns to leave you dizzy.
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments.
In the latest controversy to shake Dolton, Illinois, Mayor Tiffany Henyard has sparked outrage with her decision to appoint Ronald Burge as the town's new police chief, a move that's anything but routine. Despite Burge being legally unqualified to serve as a police officer, let alone as chief, due to his inactive status with the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, which prohibits him from carrying a firearm, issuing citations, or performing basic police duties, Henyard went ahead with the appointment. Her decision has left the town in uproar and triggered yet another legal battle with the trustees, adding to her growing list of contentious actions.
Dolton is the only community that in order to get a business license or a liquor license, you need an attorney.
Let's rewind and unpack the full story because this controversy didn't come out of nowhere. Since becoming mayor of Dolton in 2021, Tiffany Henyard has been no stranger to scandal, often making waves, and not the good kind. One of the first incidents to grab headlines was her excessive spending, with tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars going toward luxury travel, fancy dinners, and even a lavish Valentine's Day party complete with igloos, R&B music, and a flurry of selfies, all on the residents' dime. But it's not just her spending habits that have drawn criticism. Henyard also has a reputation for surrounding herself with questionable figures. This brings us to her latest debacle, appointing Ronald Burge as police chief despite his lapsed law enforcement certification. Burge hasn't completed a requalification shoot since 2020, making him legally unable to carry a firearm in public, a glaring issue for someone expected to lead a police department.
Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
Here's where things get even more unbelievable. Despite Ronald Burge's inactive status and a letter from the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board strongly advising Mayor Tiffany Henyard to remove him, she's pressing on. The letter clearly stated that Burge cannot serve in any law enforcement capacity until Dolton submits the necessary paperwork and he completes his requalification. But Henyard isn't exactly known for playing by the rules. This isn't the first time she's clashed with the town's trustees either. When she appointed Burge, the majority of the board opposed it, pointing out that the village ordinances require trustee approval for such a key position. But Henyard ignored them and pushed through the appointment anyway, sparking yet another legal battle that's now unfolding in court.
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent payments for months.
And let's not forget, this controversy isn't just about Ronald Burge. Mayor Tiffany Henyard has a well-documented history of making questionable appointments. It's almost as if she has a talent for selecting individuals with problematic backgrounds, or at the very least, those who aren't fully qualified for the roles they're given. One online commenter summed it up perfectly, saying Henyard hires and recruits people like a mob boss, and honestly, it's hard to argue with that assessment. Her decisions often seem designed to consolidate power and surround herself with loyalists who won't challenge her authority. Take, for instance, her previous appointment of former police chief Liz Lacey, who, like Burge, also had an inactive status with the state. As another commenter pointed out, if the state of Illinois lists someone as inactive, they cannot be an officer, yet Henyard still went ahead with Lacey's appointment. This isn't an isolated incident. It's a clear and troubling pattern that raises serious questions about her leadership.
All this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me, I'm over it. Now it's time for me.
Despite the legal battles, public outrage, and a growing list of scandals, Tiffany Henyard seems to thrive in the chaos. Not only is she holding on to her position, but she's also gearing up for re-election. Yes, you read that right. She recently announced her bid for another term as mayor with a bold, attention-grabbing social media post. Asterisk attention, attention, attention. I am running for re-election for mayor of Dolton. Asterisk subtle, right? But here's the thing. Despite all the drama, Henyard secured her first term in a landslide victory, capturing over 80% of the vote in 2021. Clearly, she had a strong base of supporters who believed in her back then. Whether that support will hold in the wake of these controversies is anyone's guess. One thing is certain, though. Henyard isn't stepping down without a fight. She's made it clear she's not going anywhere, no matter how many legal battles she faces or how loud the calls for her resignation become.
So now I have to pay a special process service in order to get them served, which is more fees for me.
And speaking of legal battles, let's unpack the latest court ruling in this ongoing saga. After Tiffany Henyard appointed Ronald Burge as police chief, the town's trustees pushed back hard, filing a restraining order to block him from serving without their approval. Initially, a judge sided with the trustees, ruling that Burge couldn't assume the role without going through the proper channels. But then, after a chaotic village board meeting, the judge reversed course, allowing Burge to serve as interim police chief for 30 days while the village works toward a more permanent solution. You'd think this temporary ruling would provide some clarity, but no, the trustees are gearing up for another court battle. Armed with a letter from the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, they argue that Burge's inactive status disqualifies him from serving in any law enforcement capacity, even on an interim basis. And they've got a valid point. How can someone who isn't legally allowed to carry a firearm or exercise law enforcement authority be trusted to lead an entire police department? It's a disaster in the making.
I'm just here because I'm at wit's end and I fear that I'm going to go into foreclosure soon if I can't get this matter handled.
If you thought the legal drama surrounding Tiffany Henyard was confined to Ronald Burge's appointment, think again. The embattled mayor is facing legal challenges on multiple fronts. Beyond her ongoing battle with the trustees over staffing decisions, Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, are also embroiled in a personal legal dispute. They're facing eviction from their rented home in Dolton. According to their landlord, Janetta Hull, the couple hasn't paid rent since August and now owes thousands in back rent. Hull, who says she's known Henyard for years and even considered her a friend, claims everything changed after Henyard and Woods moved into her property and stopped paying rent. Hull alleges she's tried to serve them with eviction papers, but they've managed to evade being served. To make matters worse, Hull says Henyard and Woods changed the locks on the property, blocking her from gaining access or performing maintenance.
Micah, tonight was a special board meeting because business has not gotten done at 2 previous meetings, so that's some progress there. But this meeting was not without its fair share of
It's a messy situation, and it's only fueling the perception that Tiffany Henyard is spiraling out of control. One of the most striking comments from her landlord, Janetta Hull, summed up the frustration. Asterisk, as a mayor, you would think they would uphold positive citizen standards. You don't see that with these people. They just feel like they can do whatever they want. Asterisk, that sentiment echoes the growing discontent in Dolton, where many believe Henyard is more focused on serving herself than the community. And if you think the eviction drama is the extent of her troubles, think again. The FBI has been sniffing around Dolton and Thornton Township, where Henyard also serves as township supervisor. Earlier this year, both the village and the township were hit with federal subpoenas as part of an investigation into her spending and management of taxpayer dollars. The probe reportedly involves lavish parties, questionable contracts, and purchases that seem a little too personal to be paid for with public funds.
You are a clown. We will continue to speak out against wrongdoing.
Why won't you step down?
Just last year, it was revealed that Tiffany Henyard spent over $43,000 on Amazon in a single day, using the village's credit card. Yes, you read that right. $43,000 in one day. And that's just the beginning. Reports have surfaced of Henyard using taxpayer funds for purchases at Target, Walgreens, Wayfair, and other retailers. Meanwhile, the village of Dolton is drowning in debt, with a deficit now nearing $5 million. The situation was dire enough to catch the attention of former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who launched an investigation into Dolton's finances. A preliminary report released earlier this year revealed that the village's general fund balance plummeted from over $5 million in 2021 to a staggering $3.65 million deficit by May 2024, a sharp decline seemingly tied to Henyard's spending habits. Yet, despite mounting evidence and public outrage, Henyard insists she's done nothing wrong.
I will be seeking arrest for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges.
In fact, Tiffany Henyard has been quite vocal about her innocence, even going so far as to accuse her critics of trying to seize power and money. During a fiery 90-minute Facebook Live rant earlier this year, Henyard lashed out at her opponents, declaring, "I will be seeking arrest for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges. It's a lot, and that's just me telling you a little bit. All this pointing the finger at Tiffany or lying on me, I'm over it. Now it's time for me to speak. As I say, truth speaks. But here's the problem. Henyard has been promising to spill the truth for months, yet so far, nothing substantial has come out. She even floated the idea of starting a podcast to tell her side of the story, but that never came to fruition. Instead, we've been left with vague accusations, a lot of finger-pointing, and little in the way of hard evidence to support her claims. Meanwhile, her critics are growing louder, and the legal battles continue to pile up. So, what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard truly the super mayor battling a corrupt system, or is she the one who's out of control, dragging Dolton down with her? Share your thoughts in the comments below.